Okay, so here's a supplemental aid packet. The way this is supposed to work is that you get these blank pages when you take the exam. And these blank pages are supposed to inspire you to remember what we learned in class. Well, if you notice, a lot of these come straight from our notes. So what we're going to do right now in this video is I'm going to show you what I hope what comes to mind when you look at these pages. Okay, so page 1, página 1. ¿Qué ves? What do you see? We have here a very large animal cell. And all animal cells, as well as plant cells, are eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means they are complex. Eukaryotic, complejo. Complex, we've got organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, centrioles, mitochondria, lysosomes, Golgi. And the most important organelle of all, the nucleus. Why is it so important? Because of what's inside. Inside the nucleus, we're going to find DNA. And inside a eukaryotic organism, the DNA in the nucleus is linear. It has a strand shape to it. So there is your DNA inside the nucleus. Now, less complex cells. Over here, we have a bacterial cell. Una célula de bacteria. Bacterial cells are less complex, menos complejos. They are prokaryotic. Now, they also have DNA. You're going to find DNA in both of those because all living things are made out of cells. Todo lo viviente compuesto de células. Complex, large eukaryotic cells or smaller, simpler prokaryotic cells. But these cells have things in common, more than just DNA. Más que ADN tienen en común. They also have ribosomes. The littlest, tiniest little organelle. Super important, sumamente importante organelle más pequeñito. The ribosomes. Well, there's also ribosomes in bacteria. También ribosomes en las bacterias. But that's really the only organelle you'll find in a bacterial cell. But they still have other things in common. Something also very important that makes every cell a cell is that it has a plasma membrane. La membrana, what separates the cell from its environment, lo que aparte la célula de su ambiente, es la membrana. That's the membrane. The plasma membrane, there's also plasma membrane in bacterial cells. All cells have those things in common. And one more thing, the liquid, the cytoplasm, el líquido cytoplasm of the cell. There's cytoplasm in eukaryotic cells and there's cytoplasm in prokaryotic cells. They have a lot in common, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. These are just the simpler version of the more complex. Complex eukaryotic, simple prokaryotic. Bacteria and archaea, animals, plants, fungi, and protistas. So what are these things? What is that? Tiny little thing over here. These are viruses. Viruses are non-living. No son vivos. Why? Because they're not made of cells. No están compuestos de células. They couldn't be made of cells. Look how big a cell is. Even the smallest cells are a lot bigger than a virus. These are just made of protein with The one thing they have in common with the living things, what's inside? DNA or RNA? Lo único que tienen en común es el ADN o RNA. That's inside the cell. That's inside the virus. Okay? Outside coat of protein, the capsid, that might have a lipid coat on the outside. Those little spikes there are proteins that help it recognize the cell it's going to attach to. But viruses, non-living. That's what this picture is for, so that you have all of that information in your mind when you look at it. All of this comes to mind. Okay? So I'm just going to list here the things they have in common. There's the DNA. There's the plasma membrane. Okay? The cytoplasm. And the ribosomes. That's what all cells have in common.